Welcome everybody to day 3 of the week 2 group stages here at the European Masters. My name is Scoundrel and I have a very special guest on the desk with me to cast the first 3 games of the day. Kadril, fresh off the LEC analyst desk, fresh off XL's jungle. How are you doing, mate? Excited to be here?
Yeah, I'm doing good. It's my first cast. I've been practicing a bit behind the scenes, so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he's a really good casting partner, actually. The guy that he was working with behind the scenes, top tier, trust me. Anyway, top tier. I'm really excited about today. But obviously, yesterday we had a storming group. So let's take a look at what happened here. LDLC versus Kick. Obviously, LDLC really just made it feel like they were Kick's kryptonite. They came out first in their group.
Yeah, champions of last time's EU Masters. I think jungle is a huge important role in this meta, and Tinks has been filling it really well. The carry jungle meta suiting him well, and he seems to be just kind of carrying the games with LDLC. Yeah,
absolutely. But let's not take away from Kick. They are still through the group stages too. That top lane jungle combo, Ivo and Schlatten, absolutely popping off for that team.
Yeah, they're playing things like the Nidalee, the Renekton. They're just sort of playing hard topside, invading the enemy jungle, making sure they can shut down the enemy topside, and just kind of snowballing from there. Some teams default to tank junglers, tank tops, but they just go double carry and they stomp you.
Kind of Schlatten's meta right now, right? And obviously we had SMS play upset. SMS beat out Schalke at the end of the day, and unfortunately Schalke with a 0-3 day meant they were just not able to get back in.
It's kind of sad. Schalke looked like a strong team all year. Even in spring they looked like a strong sort of national team. It's a shame they didn't make it. I mean, you do have to beat these sort of bottom tier 2 teams, quote unquote, but they didn't manage to do it, and they did get knocked out. So,
and again, this is heartache for the second European Masters in a row for Schalke, who also failed to get out of the groups last time round as well. Yeah. And again, you're right, in the Prime League, in the National Dark Leagues, they looked good. They looked very good. They're just not able to replicate that on the European Masters stage.
It's surprising, I think. I mean, they looked so good in the regular split.
And you can see here, as you see, LDLC come out of top of that group due to head-to-head, Kick Neosef coming out as second. And just to reiterate, that is both last split's finalists making it out of the group here as well. So the defending champions LDLC qualifiers first. The defending finalists in the form of Kick Neosef also make it out of that group as well. But we are turning our eyes towards Group C today. And as you can see, the scene is set. Misfits Premier have looked very good to kick things off at 3-0. They'll be starting up against WLG Gaming. And then we have Vodafone Giants. And it's an interesting story with Vodafone Giants. Obviously, we don't have 3 seeds from the SLO left. We lost G2 Arctic in the play-ins, and we're not guaranteed to see Movistar Riders in the knockout stages due to the fact they have to play a tiebreaker this coming Sunday, which I believe will be at 6 o'clock CEST, the same start time that we always go for, but that'll be on Sunday when we get through those tiebreakers that are currently scheduled. But obviously, as you know, Movistar Riders not guaranteed to get through, so for the SLO to have a guaranteed seed through, they have to perform well today.
They have to perform well. I think Giants and MRS are 2 good teams to represent the region. You could argue the region's gotten weaker over the years with the disappearance of like the Mad Lions with Southmid and stuff like this, but LFL's looking so strong and we're straight into draft.
Yeah, as you said, the LFL looking like one of the strongest regions. I think Misfits Premier have been the paragons of that. Like, they have been the standout team, really looking infallible last week, and they're hoping to continue that run, as I don't think we've got any team that is on schedule for a complete 6-0 as it stands in the group stages, well, other than Misfits Premier at this point in time. Lucian getting banned, Caitlyn being banned, obviously Lucian flexing to the mid quite a lot right now. We've seen Pride play in top as well for Fnatic, and Caitlyn just a top tier AD carry right now.
Yeah, standard bans coming in here. The Caitlyn ban's really good on red side, denies the first pick Kate, obviously. Blue side's really good at target bans. They're obviously banning out Warden's Graves, which he probably had a good performance on. I think the carry junglers do kind of suit him, but Kirei is my kind of highlight on Misfits. I think when he gets the Kindred, the Hecarim, he looks so powerful. So maybe adding a ban, something like that to Kirei could help WLG in the draft department. They do go for the Shen ban. Shen Hecarim is a really good combo. Yeah. Shen with carry jungles in general is just really strong.
And I'm wondering whether we'll see something like that as a ban here for Mr. Premier, because as you said, Warden will play something like the Hecarim. You know, he has got that carry jungle potential. You were right, one of his standout performances was on the Graves last week, where he did manage to find a win for the team. And obviously, Warden coming in as a last-minute addition to the WLG roster coming into EU so far. We'll see what they go for on their blue side one, and it is the Hecarim that gets locked in.
So they don't ban away the Hecarim, they pick it away. It's a good idea. I think Misfits could answer with something here like an AD, like an Ashe is really good. You could also go something like the Nautilus if you want to just get a good bot combo. You can go for jungle, match the jungle. Something like Kindred is really good to Hecarim. Maybe Kirei wants to bust out his Nidalee, it's also a good matchup, but the Ashe secure is really good. It gets good engage, good utility, and we've seen it across the world, right? Ashe, Senna, Jhin, these 3 are just kind of being traded off most of the time. But I would say Ashe is the strongest of the 3.
Yeah, and Ashe is going to get locked in here for Misfits Premier. And you did mention, you know, we were talking a little bit behind the scenes about Kirei, and it is the Nidalee. So you did say, you know, if he just wants to throw his Nidalee down, Kirei, kind of a good Nidalee player in general. But you mentioned that he is kind of the standout player for this team, kind of drives the success for Misfits Premier. Yeah,
he's having so much success in his carry junglers, the Hecarim, Kin, and Nidalee. I think the jungle matchup's pretty good for him. It's really strong in the early game. Nidalee, if she gets ahead, she's obviously quite oppressive in the jungle department. She can get early objectives. So we see the Senna trade come in here. Could expect to see a mid laner here, something safe like an Orianna, or you could just secure the best supports with the Senna, something like the Nautilus in general. The Tahm Kench has kind of fallen off a bit, but the Thresh is still open, which is a champion which is kind of banned throughout the sort of the bigger regions like the LPL, the EU. They like to ban out Thresh because Senna Thresh is quite potent.
Well, it's going to be the Senna. We'll see if they do lock in a support. You'd imagine when you go for a Senna lane, it would be thought of, but Paris wants to get his hands on the Orianna, and you know, Paris, one of these very stalwart, dependable mid laners here for WLG.
Yeah, I mean, Orianna is a good safe mage. It works well with the Hecarim. It's a really good teamfight comp. Now, you can match it with something like a Syndra. It depends on if Ronaldo has confidence in going 4-5 here. So they're going to pick a Renekton. So the Nidalee Renekton, super strong combo throughout the world. Obviously, Ronaldo has mid pick, so even if Zoe, Syndra, stuff like this are banned out, I'm sure he's got something to pull out. So you could expect a last pick support here from Misfits to try and get the counter. I would expect WLG to try and ban out some of the mids, which could be good into the Orianna.
And which mids would you be looking at if you're trying to ban away the Renekton? Actually, sorry, the Malphite getting banned out here. What would you be banning if you're WLG? If you're trying to limit what Ronaldo could play in this scenario? I
mean, Syndra is a really oppressive champion in this matchup. I think that the champ itself at level 6 is really strong. Maybe champions with escape like a LeBlanc is really good against Orianna Hecarim. It kind of negates their combo in general because she has an escape. Zoe is a good poke champ against Hecarim in general. I mean, Hecarim can engage on it, but I think if Zoe lands a bubble, Hecarim kind of has to ult out most of the time because he lacks the flash. But they're going to go for support band, it seems. So they do have the blind support, so it makes a little bit of sense. Tarek ban, not bad so far. You can see Misfits are just banning out tanks to make this Nidalee Renekton combo easier, because if you are against a tank, it is a bit more difficult to shut him down, and it gives you less value in shutting them down against a tank, because obviously they're going to be useful. So you could see something like an Ornn come out here from WLG, just secure a really good team fight comp, and I think
I'm really sorry, Kadril. I need to get my glasses.
That's okay, I'll take over.
I can't read.
I'll take over. It's a one-man cast now. It's a one-man cast. Okay, so it's another support ban coming in out here. Oh no, it's a mid ban. It's Azir. So Misfits probably going to pick their mid laner up here. It's good to counter support. The only sort of support you could pick here blind is Thresh, I suppose.
I'm such a boomer. I'm such a boomer. Okay, I can see now.
I already said with quick shot. I'm fine with the boomers, mate. I got you. Don't worry.
I was reading the second ban on the second phase. I was like, what on earth have they banned? I can't even see it.
It's okay. So yeah, like I said, probably a mid lane pick. Syndra, maybe a LeBlanc is really good. You have two really hard winning solo laners then. Maybe you could go for a Thresh as well. Sylas.
That's a leaf out of the leader book. But you know, Ronaldo's the kind of player that will take these kind of matchups. Like, I think the problem is that my opinion of Ronaldo is tainted by Fnatic Rising so, when he was playing support. But everybody that I talk to says that Ronaldo is actually a pretty smurf mid lane. So I'm kind of looking forward to this.
So now it's a bit scary to pick Ornn, right? Because if you pick Ornn into Sylas, it does give them the engage in a sense. So the Thresh can be picked up. So the only tank really left is Ornn, I'd say. I guess the Sylas could have been predicted with sort of like, you have the Nidalee, Renekton, Sylas, so you have like a really good skirmish combo. You don't really want to play too much scaling. The Syndra could have fit, but they do decide to go for the Sylas. He has got a good Hecarim ult. I think that's the only real one that is working from here. The Senna ult is good for globals too, but if they do pick Ornn here, it's kind of risky. I think they're probably contemplating it because they're like, well, if you pick Ornn, they have Sylas, and then they're going to have Ornn ult against Orianna Senna, so they're going to have really good engage with Ashe as well, so they're going to go for Cho'gath instead, which I think it's fine, but I just think it's so vulnerable versus Nidalee Renekton. If you get stunned once, you're just dead.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, like, and we know that they like to go for like the very early level 4, level 3 tower dives in certain circumstances. So have to be very careful here if you're IceBreaker using that Q sparingly. We'll see what Misfits Premier choose to round things up with. They are looking for a support in this scenario. And, you know, versus dive, if you've got something like the Hecarim, the Tahm Kench is pretty good to consider.
Yeah, Tahm is known as sort of a counter to Thresh in a sense. You can just sort of eat the people that person that gets hooked. You can play with Cleanse if you want, so it's quite dynamic in that sense. I would have preferred something like a Nautilus. I mean, you're running Sylas, Renekton, Nidalee. You need something to go in with you. Tahm Kench is sort of like the Ashe protector, so the pick makes sense, right? If Hecarim jumps in with your
in a vacuum, right? It makes sense in a vacuum in the sense that it's great with Ashe, but maybe doesn't follow up on the Nidalee, the Sylas, and the Renekton.
Exactly, but I think Ashe is kind of stuck if she's against Hecarim or Orianna. If she has no flash, she can't really walk up. So the Tahm Kench pick makes sense. You have got a really strong top side towards level 6, and in the early stages, I think the top jungler Misfits is really strong. But if you look at WL's comp, if they can get through the early game and get to some dragon fights, I think they're in a really good position. They have the Senna ult to defend top and stuff like that.
like to ask you a time period in the game where you'd say, okay, WLG come online here and they're favored, at what point in the game would you be looking at to see that?
So I would say 2 items on their mid and AD carry. I think Hecarim really comes online with the Triforce, and Cho'gath is kind of useful at 1 or 2 items as well. So I'd say 2 item spike for WLG. I think Misfits has a really good early game, obviously. Renekton, Nidalee, you can expect some top dives coming in here. The Ashe Tahm is just a weak side bot safe. They can't really get dove by the Hecarim, so they're playing weak side. They should be fine. We'll see how it goes.
We're jumping into this game, and obviously GLL are not out of this group. I do want to make that clear. I know we hyped up the LFL, we hyped up the SLO, but WLG have a chance to make this group interesting. And if they can kick things off with a win here, boy, does this day get interesting. But I don't want to oversell it. I think LFL quite clearly come in as the strongest region in the European Masters. They've already qualified their 3rd seed and previous defending champions as the 1st seed out of their group in the form of LDLC. And Misfits Premier looked like the strongest team in last week, and their 3-0 scoreline reflects that. So, you know, I think we're expecting the Misfits Premier roster to win this game, but the GLL and the WLG team in general, they definitely can play upset, and they are capable because they did make, I believe, if I remember correctly, they did make Misfits work for that win, or it might have been Pompa, but either way, Misfits have been made to work for some of those wins last week.
Yeah, I mean, Misfits, they came in as the 1st seed, right? They're really strong. You can argue France is the strongest region, so there could be an early invade going into top here. Hecarim does like to start on the top side, get the early blue buff, or he can start on Raptors, so if they spot this, Hecarim can kind of go for the cross map, but it's a bit difficult to take the enemy bot side when you don't really have that much push in bot, so they're going to go for the level 1 here. Hecarim's kind of weak, so I think they're going to have to give this up.
Yeah, I think there's many ways you can contest this, and as you said, just going to go for an easy blue side invade. If you're Warden in this scenario, how do you react? Like, now that you know your blue's gone, are you going to go try and split and vertical here? Like, what's your game plan?
It depends on Kirei's pathing here. He will see that the wolves are gone soon, so then he'll realize Hecarim's pathing towards bot side. He can already presume he's already there, so they have got 2 wards in their bot side, so they will spot him if he does go for the blue buff. It depends on the bot push, really. I think Sylas is going to get pushed in. He's going to get spotted on this ward here now, so if Misfits can get the push in bot and stop this, then it's really good for them. But they can also just kind of leave it, just make sure the map's split in a way that Ashe, Tahm, Kench can't really ever get dove by this 3v3 of WLG, whereas the Icebreaker on Cho'gath, he's quite vulnerable on this top side.
I mean, Kirei, he's heading down towards that bottom side of the map, and has been shown here as Paris. Ronaldo has got that prio in the mid lane, and again, as you said, bot lane here as well, have to be careful. Warden's going to be going in onto Targamas. Kirei will make his way through, but actually looking like he's committing to this right now, Warden, and they do not have the support. Here comes Ronaldo too, and immediately the pull comes through. Nice hook onto Kirei. First blood goes over to Jezu, however, and now WLG are stuck in the river without a paddle. And Misfits, they're hungry for blood. They are looking for these kills. Bananitoo will be the 3rd, as it's a double kill for Kirei. A nice stun onto Paris, and Kirei gets a clean sweep. Oh my word, disaster for WLG.
It's an absolute horror. I mean, Kirei was played it smart, right? He had the bot push, he went for the cross. He was going to go for the split map, but he noticed that Hecarim was walking in. He ran down there, he went for the fight. Warden got a bit over aggressive. Level 2 Hecarim with phase rush, the ghost. Yeah, you can dodge out on some skill shots, but once Ashe flashes over that wall and starts hitting you, you have no escape. So it was also almost like a 4v3 from that point onwards. Ronaldo came first. It was just a complete scrap in the river, and I would favor Misfits' comp 10 out of 10 times. You can see in the replay here, Warden, he goes south here, he doesn't get the blue. You could always just back, to be honest, but he goes for the fight. Here you would think he backs off, but the spear misses. He commits to the kill. The ignite comes out from Targamas, and Warden's stuck now. He can't run away. You can see Ronaldo comes into the fight, and Sylas is so much stronger than the Orianna at this point in the game. And Bananitoo tries his best to get some damage down, but they have the Tahm Kench CC, they have the spears. Nidalee and Sylas can always chase you down. And yeah, that's 4 kills for Misfits in the first 2 minutes of the game.
And you mentioned that it's an early game comp. You mentioned that they need to get off to a good start. I have not seen a better start in the European Masters, and it was all really from a bit of a mistake. And I think as Warden, you had to be aware of the positionings of the lanes, right? You had to be aware that there was prio in bot and mid for the enemy team. You were going to be potentially under the hammer when it comes to this, and now Kirei, he's not done yet. He wants to continue to punish Warden.
Absolute madman. He's not letting him get any camps. Warden's stuck level 2. He's going to try and keep him down there. He has the smite for this objective. Kirei smite's coming up soon, but Warden might have to just give it. He can try to 50-50 it, but this Hecarim is really far behind.
Kirei is just trying to put as much pressure down as possible now. You can see that Cho'gath has actually made his way down. That's why Kirei is being a little bit more careful. You can see now Paris is also there, attempting to put pressure on this. Nidalee has to be forced out. Paris going for it. That's so close for Kirei. Paris did not have his flash, couldn't follow up on it, and Actually, Kirei doesn't get much from that, rather than just wasting a bit of time.
Well, he spotted out the Hecarim, tried to keep him down a level, but obviously the prios were in favor of WLG just because of the side of the map, right? They're on the blue side of the map, so they can always come first. It does help Renekton get a base. It's something you won't really spot there. Kirei actually pressuring him out there meant that Renekton could push in the wave while Cho'gath moved, so Renekton gets a free base now. So he's going to run back to lane, he can save his TP, and they can use that TP for bot later on.
We're actually just going to see a potential 2v2 here. That's a nice route, though, from Bananitoo. I don't think Jezu's got that flash up and available as of yet, and very close there. That was a clutch route out from Bananitoo.
So it looks like IceBreaker is going to save the TP. Kirei is not done here. He's going to keep looking for Warden.
Oh my word.
He's going to steal it.
He's going to steal it as well. Warden just absolutely manhandled by Kirei so far, and not getting any of his camps.
I feel for him, man. I feel for him. Kirei's going to base here. He's got 2 kills, 21 CS, so he should pick up some good items here. Mini jungle item, maybe Fiendish Codex, yep. So Nidalee is really far ahead. You can see just based on the gold by the items, right? She's up about 900 gold on the Hecarim. She's up a little bit of levels. Yeah, you can see it on the gold chart there. So yeah, it's 800 to 900 roughly. And the whole problem they have now is Renekton 6. If Kirei keeps playing into this top side and stops Warden from being able to move there, they have no TP on the Orianna. Senna's not 6 yet, so they can set up on this wave. They can set up a top dive if they wanted to. I mean, it's just as easy as the Renekton stun into the spear. It's a one-shot, forces the IceBreaker to have to TP back to top, and that gives Agresivoo all the time he wants to TP to bot for Drake contests or bot 3v2s.
He's going for an invade on this blue buff that is respawning on the top side of the map, and it looks like Warden is just going to trade blue side for blue side, although you said that there is that top lane dive potential. A huge wave for IceBreaker to miss out on as well, as Kirei happy to continue the pressure here. Ronaldo walking through, has that Cho'gath ultimate available, but the flash will come out. Will not be able to get him, but he does lose a lot to tower.
Exactly. I mean, they can try and go for a Drake here. Agresivoo has got TP to contest, but their bot lane's on the tower. Ronaldo has no TP, and Ronaldo didn't have flash for that. I think if he had flash, he could obviously flash in there, go for the feast, and WLG are going to look for a cross map here. I don't think there's much to be done, to be honest. It is an Ashe, Tahm, Kench. Maybe you're going to make them lose a wave, but in general, this Cho'gath, he's already down 20 CS. They're playing into their win condition. I think that's the most important thing that Misfits are doing right now. They're making sure they shut down the Cho'gath. The Renekton's already got a plate. He's already up in CS. Dropping this Drake is not the worst thing, because Hecarim's a jungler that really wants to keep up the tempo, right? It's sort of like an exponential growth where he just wants to farm and farm and farm, and as he does that, he can farm faster. But having to do Drake while your enemy Nidalee's taking your topside camps doesn't feel good. They can always repeat dive. Ronaldo has prio again. Warden's on Drake. They must know he's still bot side, and they can just force this again.
Yeah, they're going to go straight for it here. They know that that dragon is being taken, and now Ronaldo here once more. This should be an easy kill. Ronaldo will pick it up, and then he loses yet more to the top side of the map. And as you said, playing towards the strength of their composition.
Yeah, I mean, Misfits are playing really good here. They're trading gold for dragons, basically. That's what they're doing. The Ashe, Tahm, Kench are really hard to dive. The only way that they can maybe get a dive is 4v2 if they take a bad trade. As the hook comes out, you can see the Tahm, Kench. They have no eat now for 20 seconds, and they're taking kind of bad trades here. So Warden could look for something. Agresivoo does have the TP. He's going to base here, but he probably really wants to save it for the Herald.
Yeah, you can see that they're going to scout out Warden. They don't know where Nidalee is on the map right now. Nidalee could have backed and head towards that bottom side, and Warden doesn't want to take any risks. But Kirei has just been fun.
Yeah, they have two options now, Misfits, right? You either push out this wave, or you just sort of leave this wave with your bot, run topside. I mean, WLG could do the same thing, right? They're at a TP disadvantage, so it's really good if you can get your Senna Thresh into the topside now, try and get the Herald. If they don't go for this kind of play, Misfits could do the opposite. They could base after this wave, run to the Herald, and try to snowball this game, keep playing for gold. Their dragons don't really matter. If you drop 1 or 2 Drakes to WLG and you have a 5k gold lead going into mid-game, they're not going to get the 3rd or the 4th Drake, so that's what they're trading for here.
Looks like the back's coming through. Tahm, Kench already heading up towards that top side of the map. I would assume that this is going to be a Rift Herald focus here. And that first Rift Herald is guaranteed gold, right? It's gold in the pockets of whichever team is able to pick it up, especially if it's being thrown down before plays.
Yeah, Jezu doesn't really have to move here. He can just hover. I mean, the bad thing is they're out of sync here with Kirei and Targamas. If Kirei was on the top side here, they could look for the Herald. But Targamas, he's going to go back towards bot side. They have got TP advantage on Agresivoo, so if they were to force this Herald and they knew that Kirei was on the top side and Warden does get his level 6 on Hecarim, if they do go for this bot dive, Agresivoo is going to TP in.
Okay, I'm kind of curious to pick your brain on this. If a team, for instance, I'll talk about it in a minute, Ronaldo's going in onto Paris here. Huge DPS, Paris taken down very low. I'm going to briefly then walk back. if a team decides not to make that 8-minute switch, like you would assume that a team that's trying to snowball and just play off objectives and play tempo would be going for a very early switch onto Rift Herald. Why would you not make that switch? Is there any reason why you wouldn't go for the Rift Herald very early?
Probably because you're afraid of losing the 4v4 or the 5v5, right? I mean, Misfits is really strong in the early game. They have the Ashe 6, they have the Renekton ult, they have so many tools for teamfights, but Kirei is just going to keep forcing up here. It's so hard for WLG. You either match this, but you don't have jungle mid prio, or you just try to cross map bot, but you can't because Agresivoo has TP.
I guess if you the more attention you bring to the top side of the map, the less likely it is for this to happen.
Kirei.
The less likely it is for Kirei
the
to...
biscuit.
Oh,
the corrupting pop, sorry.
No.
That's the time warp tonic. Saving him there.
He might be able to get pressure on Rift Herald anyway now, though, right? You know,
Yeah.
you've just forced the bot lane back, so Ronaldo's got pressure mid.
This is the whole problem with WLG's decision making. They had one wave of prio in bot where they could have got to mid first, and the Warden's looking for a play here.
Yeah, he's going in. Ronaldo taken low. Shutdown comes through for Bananitoo. They get that mid lane, and now Warden heading up towards the Rift Herald. Kirei was trying to go for it, but with Ronaldo dying there, I'm not sure they're going to have the ability to take this with ease.
Ronaldo has TP, so they should just push this wave out and try. Maybe they could try and contest if IceBreaker can get there in time, but Ronaldo can TP in.
No mana on Paris as well.
Yeah, Paris is out of mana. It's going to be pretty difficult. He could look to steal it and ult away. That's only his real option here.
He's going to go for it. That's the... Oh my... He just gets blown up. That was a bit of a yikes
Hey, he
there.
got it though. Hey, he got it.
Oh, he got
It's
it.
fine.
Oh, he smited it. There you go.
Okay, so that does slow the game down a bit, but Paris is in a bit of a pickle here.
He is a bit of a pickle. He's been supported by his bot lane. As Ronaldo walks through, now Mersa being taken down. Flashes across the wall. Targamas was there, but... oh, Ronaldo. That was a bit spicy. Not sure that you want to commit to the fight, though. And he will just leave.
Oh, it's a horror for WLG. I mean, the whole point is based on the top dives. Like, you either try to get your bot lane up there, swap him out of the lane, or try a 4v4 for Herald to get him out of that, but your early game's not that strong. Or you try to cross map bot, but he has TP, and they're just going to go on him again.
And he does not have flash of a... Oh, it's coming up very soon, but it's not going to be coming up soon enough, and he's on the wrong side of the lane here. Trying to put pressure onto Kirei, but Agresivoo should be able to take this down. Agresivoo will get the kill. Nice, Kirei will back out, although Jezu was very greedy on this bottom side of the map, as now Warden has caught him out, and Jezu is going to walk towards the tower. He knows he's dead, and Paris will pick up the kill.
Yeah, we see some fighting mid here.
Yeah, there's a bit more fight going. There's fights across the map, fights in every lane so far. Misfits just very hungry for blood. They do lose out a little bit, but the gold lead's starting to stack in their favor. We're looking at about 3k heading up to the 12-minute mark.
Jezu was trying to get bot plates there. There was a ward behind him, so the TP came in. It was a bit, I think the weak side police came in there with their sirens. It was a bit illegal for him to push out that wave and get the plating, so when his jungle's diving top and his support roam mid, but he gets punished for it in the end. Paris gets he gets a kill, he gets some plates, so this Orianna is starting to come online. You'll see he'll base here, probably pick up an item. The second Drake's spawning now, so it's something to contest if Agresivoo decides to base here and move towards the bot side. It's a good spot in the game right now for Misfits to start trying to fight, because WLG, they kind of need 2-3 items. You can see the Senna's building her second. Cho'gath's kind of lacking on the item department. Hecarim doesn't have the Triforce, so just forcing a Drake here is really good. Even if Cho'gath pushed out this wave, Agresivoo can always match with TP, so they should look to play into the Sylas' lane.
And Sylas is starting to put pressure down there, as you said. That Drake coming up, it looks like a good place to potentially fight, and as you said, it is an early game comp. Like they do want to be able to put pressure onto WLG before they can hit their relative item spikes and at least build a big gold lead. And you can see Kirei straight onto this dragon. They're not going to get the soul timer, and the soul is either going to be Cloud or Infernal. So the soul timer is not going to be super early into the game, but no contest here from WLG.
What is WLG doing here? They're trying to play into top to defend the blue buff, but Mersa's just on the wrong side of the map here. If Misfits commit to a bot dive and they see Mersa, okay, luckily they didn't see where Mersa was, so they did ping onto the Senna. They were going to look for a dive here, but Misfits can just use this mid prio into bot all the time, and if Warden stays topside, they can't really make a play on that Agresivoo. I mean, Ronaldo doesn't have TP, so playing into his lane is important, right? Because then Agresivoo can TP down if there's a fight. But if Agresivoo is always safe and Misfits dominate the bot side of the map, the only thing WLG can do is play for topside jungle camps, maybe try and get some prio there, but they can't really move it into mid, so Misfits are just going to slowly take this bot tower, so it's a rough spot for WLG.
And actually, something that's worth noting about this game in general is if Misfits win, they are through the group stages. They're guaranteed a quarterfinal spot. They would be 4-0, and it would be impossible for them to have a guaranteed three-way tie in that scenario. So if Misfits beat WLG here, that is 2 French teams guaranteed quarterfinals, and potentially, you know, Misfits searching for the first seed coming out of a group, because LDLC came out as first seed yesterday. If Misfits were to come out as first seed from their group as well, that really sets the tone for how strong the LFL are as a respective region across Europe.
Yeah, I mean, you can see by this game alone. Pick an early game comp, executed well, played to your win conditions, and Misfits just playing good here. You can see WLG trying to get some chunks on the mid tower, but, I mean, oh, Targamas.
I wonder if he's bought enough time with that stopwatch here. Actually, Kirei getting focused into a 1v1 here versus Warden. Across the wall, in comes Ronaldo!
Oh my, no,
my
it's a
word!
Oh,
You hate to see it. Agresivoo now going to be forced to flash away. We'll pop the Dominus too. I'm not sure he'll escape from this death squad of WLG, but what are they going to lose for all the time that Agresivoo was buying them? The Shockwave comes out. He will go down. Bit of mid lane pressure starting to build up.
Herald. They have Herald and IceBreaker. They could Herald this top tower, but they're going to lose some mid chunk here. I mean, Kirei got lucky there. He got away with... that was illegal. He got away with that. He should have died, but... oh, that's spear damage. But I think if Warden got the kill there onto Kirei, he got the shutdown, he'd have Triforce right now. So he used everything for it. He didn't get it in the end. But my main concern for WLG right now is Ronaldo's been free farming bot. He's got an entire tower to himself. They just lost the mid tower almost here as well. So they're dropping way too many objectives and they're not covering enough.
And as I said, like, what do they lose for the sort of I guess the pressure that Agresivoo just bought them? Mid lane tier 1 drops. That's such an important important tower to sort of gain in the game to get you advantages, and especially as a comp that wants to snowball. That is something that unlocks the map, especially across the enemy blue and red side jungle. I actually want to kind of focus your attention to a specific stat here. You mentioned Kirei. He's going to be the guy to watch for. He's going to be the guy that's going to carry Misfits Premier. 100% kill participation, 305 on this Nidalee. A pick that is a bit do or die when it comes to performance. He is definitely doing Kirei in a great spot for Misfits Premier right now.
Yeah, Nidalee really needs some setup, and Renekton is the key setup factor for Nidalee really in this sort of meta. You can see it in LPL, you can see it in LCK. It's such a powerful sort of comp, the Renekton with something like a Lilia or even the Nidalee. It just works so well, and I mean, he played to his win condition really well. Huge props to Kirei. He has Rod of Ages, full jungle item with 15 minutes, so he's really, really strong. If he died in that Dragon Pit, you could argue the Warden could come back in the game, but he's really behind. Not too much in levels, but mainly in gold right now. He's around 2,000 gold down towards Kirei and the Nidalee here, and Misfits have just played well. They've got all 3 outer towers. They've got their side laners on sides now. They're going to go for a 1-3-1. They have the Ashe arrow to engage whenever they want. And in 3 more levels, Targamas will be level 11, which means they can use the Tahm Kench ult to sides as well. So it's really hard for WLG to crack open this game now. They've put themselves in a spot where they're 6k gold down almost. They can't really contest the Dragons unless they get a good team fight. So in this exact situation, I think they just have to look for mistakes from the side of Misfits.
How do you fish out those mistakes if you're WLG? Is it purely just being very sort of dominant with your vision control on your own side jungle, looking for punishing Misfits when they're over-aggressive?
It's quite difficult because their comp is so... they have so many dashes, right? The Nidalee, the Renekton, the Sylas themselves are quite hard to catch on. And then you have the Ashe with the Tahm in mid, which is always going to push in this wave, always going to fog towards objectives, and you can never really face check them. So what they could look to do is try to have Paris push out top, try and base, maybe shadow the Cho'gath to try and get a 2v1 onto Agresivoo, but even then, Ronaldo can TP in, the Tahm Kench ult can come in, so just based on Misfits' comp, it's hard to shut them down. Looking for mistakes is the key, and I think that if they over-push aside, so if Agresivoo gets too cocky here and pushes out bot all the way to tier 2 and starts trading aggressively, that's something you can look for, but Agresivoo's playing it good here, just catching waves, making sure he has some sort of prio, keeping sure he has river vision here, and you can see WLG's, all their ping ports are bot side, so if they can get deep vision here for Ronaldo top, and he keeps the push top, and Agresivoo just plays reactive, keeps his TP, make sure he's ready for Drake fights, then it's really hard for WLG to come back here.
Kirei just pushing heavily into that blue side jungle, gets shockwaved, and the ultimates come through as Warden chases him down. Kirei will get taken through by Paris, who gets the kill here, and now Targamas coming through as well. Ronaldo there also with the shockwave straight onto Warden. Diving in, but will not take him down. The sustain is too much as Targamas bails him out, and now Jezu trying to kite backwards. It is 3 versus 4, and Misfits are on the losing side right now. Jezu doing what he can. He's 1v4ing right now. He's not down, but he will die to Paris in the end.
TP.
Targamas will join, and the TP of Agresivoo coming through. The sustain is there from Senna right now, and Agresivoo, I think, knows that this could be a little bit difficult. He's buying time for Ronaldo to make his way back into this fight, as now Agresivoo's forced out. He'll have that Dominus available, and he will. Dives in, straight onto Mersa. There is the damage coming through, but Agresivoo gets taken down, and now Ronaldo stuck in a trap. The Greeks will chase him down and get another kill. That was an unbelievable error by Misfits. What the bloody hell just happened?
It's an absolute tragedy. I mean, Kirei overstepped. It's exactly what we said, right? If they make a mistake, they can come back from this. Kirei oversteps in the jungle, he gets caught, and then everyone just tries to bundle him to save him.
What?
And they're going to get the second dragon from this.
No.
It's Infernal Soul. We watch it again. Kirei, he has no vision here. He's just trying to fish to see where Orianna is. Gets caught by the shockwave. Doesn't flash it initially. Does it end up flashing afterwards? But he's trying to get to the wall here so he can jump away. But his bot lane was pushing mid, so they just weren't there to save him. So Paris flashes in, gets kill. Misfits, I would like to see Agresivoo TP in here now. He needs to TP now because the fight's going to kick off. So they try to catch onto Warden here. He does manage to escape just about. Ronaldo gets taken out. The Eats used. So now Jezu, he wants to play aggressive here, but he has no Tahm Kench, so he can't really step up too far. He gets as many autos in as he can, but it just wasn't enough. WLG all lived on 1 HP. Bananitoo flashes in. Jezu gets taken out by the combo. And Targamas does his best as well. Everyone's on such low HP bars.
As I said, if WLG win this, this makes the group insanely spicy. Like, it really does. Misfits Premier, they needed only to get this win to put themselves through to the quarterfinals. If WLG win, suddenly the group opens up massively. I see your head in your hands. What are you looking at?
Is Renekton building Triforce?
Renekton's building Triforce.
Moving swiftly on. WLG have 2 items on their carries, right? The Orianna's online, the Triforce is there. Senna's got the 2 items. Agresivoo's looking for a red buff here, but I don't think that's kind of legal what he's doing there. He needs to back off. His team's on the top side of the map, and Misfits' comp doesn't scale well. The Renekton doesn't scale well, Nidalee doesn't scale well. Sylas does if he has enough gold to match the Orianna, but if they keep winning these team fights, I think Misfits might struggle. They need to get a Baron here, but they can't really tank it unless Tahm Kench wants to. The damage isn't super high. They need to play for Drakes, but they're only on 1 Drake at 20 minutes.
And the dependable carry for WLG as well in the form of Paris. Last week, one of WLG's wins came off the back of Paris playing an unbelievable Galio game. Like, he was hitting some 4- and 5-man taunts with that Galio. And you're seeing that now. You know, he's having a great game on the Orianna. It's going to be pressure onto Ronaldo now, forced to dive away with the stolen onslaught of shadows. He's trying to sustain up, but he will go down. Paris gets his 5th kill of the game.
This is what I'm talking about. You can't get cocky on side lanes. You can't just push them out when your bot lane's catching mid or you don't have any vision. Like, he only had 1 ward in the tri-bush next to him. And he has no flash. He's stepping up way too far. Kirei also stepped up way too far on the blue buff initially. They need to wait for this Ashe and Tahm Kench to push in the mid wave, move to your side, and then you can play aggressively. Because if you do get really, really deep on these side waves and you get caught out, WLG, you can see they were having 3 lanes pushed in. Now they have 2 waves pushed in against the Misfits. They're going to get the mid push here. They have the top push. They're going to get some deep vision. So WLG is back in this game.
Rift Herald gets spawned just casually outside the mid lane. Oh my word, Jezu just gets blown up. Now Targamas is on the menu. He will manage to survive for now, and the rest of Misfits will just back away. And again, mistake after mistake for Misfits Premier.
Yeah, this is a comp that you have to execute cleanly. They executed it cleanly in the first 15 minutes, but after that, it's just been a disaster. Agresivoo used the ult here to try and engage. Mersa, props to him, the flash hook. He's not like messing around. He's here to win. He flashes in, gets Jezu with no flash. They're gonna get 2 mid towers here. They're gonna have full control. They're gonna take jungle camps away from Kirei. The Nidalee is not ahead in levels. The gold's slowly falling away from them. There's only a 1k gold lead now when it was 6,000 10 minutes ago.
And that's not good, given that you're going up against the scaling of WLG, as you said. Like, they have that pure scaling team fight. Although, yes, okay, you could argue that Senna doesn't scale particularly well as an AD carry. You could say that, obviously, the top side of the map is a monster team fight combination.
Yeah, I mean, Senna's going to scale well regardless of the souls, right? Yeah. So she should be fine. My main concern is the Orianna. She's so online. She has the Hecarim to engage for her. If Misfits don't have flashes, it's just so easy to engage on them. You can see there's just so much miscoordination between Misfits, whether it's the jungle bot lane, the mid lane bot lane on side, and even the bot lane themselves there. You see Jezu steps up for the mid wave. Targamas is still quite far away. He's at the tier 3 running to mid. He has no flash. Mersa punishes him. And just from that single play alone, they got 2 mid towers. So Misfits, they can try and force some prio here. They have got the bot push. Agresivoo's moving as the arrow comes onto Bananitoo.
I think this is the first time I've seen them go for a pick with the arrow all game. They do manage to get the shutdown straight onto Bananitoo, and now Kirei being focused down, and his Icebreaker comes in for the side lane flank. Targamas is buying time for his team to escape here. It is not a one fight here for Misfits, it's a 1-for-1 overall, but they'll manage to bat WLG back into their own jungle.
Not bad. I like with Misfits' proactivity. They know they're going to get outscaled, try to get some Ashe arrows going. I would have liked to see this earlier in general. When you have prio over sides and Agresivoo can move first, you can always just toss the arrow out. Even if they have to flash it, even if it hits and you chunk them out, there's always an objective to be taken, whether it's vision, whether it's denying sideways, whether it's chunking towers. So the first arrow comes out, it does catch Bananitoo. He does need to pick up something like a QSS soon when he's against Renekton and the Ashe. I think something like this would be really useful, or even like a Mikael's. But just contesting mid-prio when they didn't have any bot push there was a bit risky, but he does get caught and punished, so well played from Misfits.
All right, Triforce on the Renekton. Let's have a look back at this again.
So yeah, if we watch this again, Jezu fires the arrow. There's no one to really save him. The Lantern comes out, and he does get the Lantern, but Kirei, look at that! Look at how he plays. He just flashes in, gets him. Targamas is right next to him, ready to react. Pops the eat, and Paris is coming. So Misfits runs. They have to run away. If this Orianna walks up to the Ashe and hits a shockwave with no flash, she's instantly dead. So they're gonna have to trade jungle for support there. And there's another Ashe arrow comes out, and it just misses. You can see on the live feed.
Yeah, it was just a nice pick, but obviously they had to trade 1 for 1 at the end of the day overall. I think one of the problems that Misfits are going to face now in this game is that if they are forced into pure teamfight situations, they're just going to lose, right? You lose to a straight-up teamfight. They're giving up the Drake to go and set up for a Baron, but they're not going to get that quick enough,
They
right?
can't do the Baron in time. They're just going to get vision here, it seems. I mean, Misfits are playing Aram now. They have a 1-3-1 comp with Tahm, Kench, and Ashe for globals over side, and they're forced into an Aram because WLG can get mid-prio now. So if the enemy team can get mid-priority and you're playing a 1-3-1 comp, it's so hard for you to push sides. So it ends up in basically an Aram. Ronaldo's trying to catch some side waves here, but he's going to have to base to defend mid. So the second you drop mid-prio in a 1-3-1, it's so difficult to actually play. So you can see the game is Renekton's grouping a lot more. There's a lot more sort of arrows in 5v5 fights. So WLG's playing well. They're dropping sides, make sure they get mid push, force Misfits to respond, and then you can catch the side waves.
They saw Ronaldo heading down. They did have the Rift Scuttler to spy him out around the Baron pit. And now Ronaldo has to be a little careful as Warden is making his way. But again, they'll just back off. They're not taking any risks right now, WLG. They don't need to get into unnecessary fights because, as you said, the longer the game goes on, the more it favors them in general.
Precisely. They're on Dragon Soul point. The arrow comes out again.
There's something going to catch Mersa. He will get locked up quite nicely. Again, you would have loved to have seen this more proactivity before, but Mersa won't actually go down. And they do burn a couple of summoners and spells, but nonetheless, it was not a pick that I think Misfits wanted.
Seems Misfits have found something that works for them now, right? The Ashe arrow. They need to just keep firing these Ashe arrows, force on their bot lane. It's all about mid-prio this game. Whoever has mid-prio dictates the game, it seems. So if Misfits have mid-prio, they can move over sides. If WLG has mid-prio, they can catch the sides. So there's a lot of Arams going on here, sort of like grouping. You can see one side lane's always grouping, whether it's Ronaldo or Agresivoo, to make sure that they can get some kind of push. So that allows Agresivoo to push out the bot side. He's got a Triforce, he's got a Blade. God knows what he's going next, but the problem is he's really squishy.
Yeah. What is Triforce Renekton about? Is it just about using E auto attack? Like where's the...
Maybe he thought there was no value in going Black Cleaver, so he just decided to sort of backtrack and go for something like a Triforce. The problem I have with this kind of Renekton build is if you go into team fights and you get stunned up once, you're pretty much one-shotted. And they have the Ashe arrow for the engage, but Renekton's the follow-up. The whole follow-up is the Sylas, Nidalee, Renekton jumping in. And if all three of those jumping in and they're all squishy, it's kind of rough. I think the Sylas is going to be tankier and buying more time than the Renekton in general with the Hecarim ult, with the stopwatch, with the W to keep himself up. So Misfits here, they need to get some gold. They need to fight this next Drake.
Yeah, that is Soul, as you said. 2 minutes 30, and Soul will be on the cards for WLG, and it's Infernal as well. This is a win condition Soul. This is something that will massively impact your teamfight potential. And Paris especially now. At Rabadon's death cap completed on the Orianna, alongside that Ludens as well.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a spicy looking Orianna. They've given him way too much gold this game, and he has been abusing it every step of the way. And now Agresivoo may be overextending, as Warden is going to be chasing him out. He will not find Kirei backing in the bush.
Oh, he can stay. You don't expect him to stay. It's a really smart play from Kirei here. They have to play over sides, unlock a side lane, and try and catch a pick here on IceBreaker so that they can move to Drake afterwards, get the vision. So Renekton needs to get the stun here. I think the Spear, it won't be enough in itself.
He's going to go in straight on to the Cho'gath, who's used that stun now already. There comes the ult from the Senna. Can Agresivoo by the time he can't? IceBreaker flashes over the wall. Here comes Tahm Kench. We've got a Fiesta in the bot lane as Paris gets immediately engaged on by Agresivoo, but the WLG brigade is here. Agresivoo gets the kill onto the Cho'gath, and now the rest of Misfits are here and ready to rumble. Mersa will be the target as Kirei jumps in. They should get another kill for their labors. And Misfits Premier find a win when they much needed it.
Okay, I take it back. Triforce is broken. He just completely one-shotted Paris there and forced him out the fight. I mean, Agresivoo played that really well. He instantly turned on the TP, chunked out the Orianna, made sure she couldn't get the fights in. I mean, look at Orianna's items. She's essentially all of their damage, including sort of the Senna and the Cho'gath and Hecarim ults. But you can see the Tahm Kench ult came in. As we watch it again, Agresivoo goes for the stun, but Kirei can't hit the spear because there's too many minions, so he tries to kind of bend it, doesn't really get it. Kirei gets really chunked out from IceBreaker's combo. The TP comes in from Paris, but watch Agresivoo. Instantly turns on him. The W, that's with the Sheen proc, gets the auto attack. He's kind of out of it, and now the Tahm Kench ult comes in. Everyone's collapsing from the side of Misfits. The flash from Agresivoo was key because it chunked out Paris, it finished off the Cho'gath, and now Misfits can play front to back chasing them down because the Ashe is coming. WLG don't have much damage left. The Orianna and the Cho'gath are out the fight, so 2 for 1 for Misfits. Good play, I like it. They got some flashes, they got a TP, but the problem is the Drake's up in 40 seconds.
The problem was it wasn't close enough to that Drake spawn. Like, if they did that near the Drake spawn, it would have been an easy win for them. They could have stopped that soul popping. But they've got to do it again, basically. They've got to find that fight, but again, maybe set up with the Ashe arrow. You can see Mersa now just being a little bit aggressive with his vision control, trying to get a handle on this Drake pit. I think WLG can afford to be aggressive, though. They've got a very strong Orianna to work with.
This mid wave is important. Whoever gets this mid wave can take the objective, right? WLG can move to Nash as Misfits route to Drake, or WLG can push in and run it down and just try to take your inhib. So Misfits are dropping the mid wave here. They've identified that the dragon is the most important thing, which it definitely is. And IceBreaker has no flash here.
He hasn't indeed. He's going to get immediately engaged on. There comes the stopwatch. Is it buying enough time for him as he does manage to get the kill onto Renekton? Oh my word, it is disaster for Misfits. What a stopwatch, because it bought so much time for WLG to rally around that Cho'gath, and now they start to hunt the rest of Misfits down. This is Soul surely secured, and potentially the guaranteed ticket to the quarterfinals absolutely thrown in the bin for Misfits.
Wow, that's the Zhonya's worth a game right there. I mean, the Zhonya's bought enough time for the shockwave. I take it back again. The Triforce Renekton is useless. He got absolutely one-shot. So they're going to lose the Drake. They're going to lose 5-0. They're going to lose the Nash. So the initial engage is good by Misfits. He's trolling. He should die here. It's illegal. They go onto him. The Zhonya's comes out. Kirei flashes in. But the follow-up was just crazy by Paris. He puts the ball on the Cho'gath. The ult. Watch Renekton's HP bar. He's just dead. And then IceBreaker does manage to live. Jezu steps too far forward. And now it's essentially just a 3v5 and you have to run. Try to get out, cut the losses if you can. That's how team fights go in the mid to late game. If you are losing the fight, cut the losses as much as you can. Clear the waves, but WLG just chase you down. They have the Thresh, they have the Hecarim, they just run them down, and they're going to get Dragon Soul, Infernal Dragon Soul, Baron, and they're outscaling Misfits, so damn.
This group suddenly is getting spicy, mate. Suddenly we've got a lot to play for here in Group C. Misfits were looking at this game, probably eyeing it as a guaranteed ticket into those quarterfinals, looking to already book their quarterfinal slot and say, do you know what, guys, let's prep for next week. But WLG had something different to say. The GLL, who for the first time ever in the European Masters have two separate seeds in the form of WLGaming and Intrepid Fox. They are not messing around in Group C. They are not going to lie over, roll over and get battered around by the sort of quote-unquote sort of premier regions in the form of the SLO and LFL. They are looking very good.
I mean, Misfits, they're volatile early game comp. It worked out. They won the early game, but too many mid-game mistakes. Now WLG, they've recovered. They've got their team fight comp. They've got the Soul. They've got the Baron. Misfits, can WLG just run it down as 5 here and just force a 5v5? Maybe even try to hit Nexus towers? I just don't see a world where Misfits can win. I think they're going to have to take the Hecarim ult or the Cho'gath ult, try to get this Orianna down. The game's changed from more of a... With the 1-3-1 comp, you want to play over waves, try to chunk out towers, force them to group, and then make them lose gold. But now, you can't force them to group. You lose every side. You lose mid-prio. Team fights are going to be really difficult, especially if you can't get onto Paris. So it's all down to this duo of Ronaldo and Agresivoo. If they can jump onto Paris and just pop him in the fight, then they have a chance. But even then, the Infernal Soul in this Senna, it's going to be deadly.
It is, especially with the range that Senna's probably picked up at this point in time as well.
So they're going to play on top wave here. It's good by WLG. Don't split up. Don't try and play 4-1. Don't try and play 1-3-1. Just play a 5-0. Just push in a wave. Try and hit it. Use your Orianna ball to zone them away. Try and throw some Thresh hooks to hit them. You don't want to split up. You see the Twin Shadows coming out. It forces Misfits to run away. And Warden is going in.
Oh my god, Warden just runs it down. Very fast pony.
Self-made Hecarim.
He had the Electro Pony, as Vedius called it.
Yeah, so they're going to get the second inhibitor. So WLG, they could fight you here, but they could also just press their B buttons and go bot.
It's looking unlikely that Misfits can actually match the power of WLG at this point. Paris very aggressive in his positioning, but he is just so tanky with that shield as well. They can't do enough damage to him right now. They've got the sustain of the Senna too. You said they could just run it down mid if they really wanted to, and they
decided to.
It looks like that's what they're going for right now.
They have so much zone control. Cho'gath knockups, they have Orianna ball, they have the Thresh hooks. There's so much zone control here, and they can just try and chunk down the towers. Doesn't look like it's going to work. The engage comes in.
He goes straight in. There's the onslaught challenge. He gets shut down onto Paris. That's the ticket that they needed. And Jezu on the back line. Look at him go. Unbelievable. Misfits found the only avenue they needed to actually get a window to win.
We said it 1 minute ago. Paris has to stay alive. Agresivoo plays it so good, just flashes on him, stuns him, Ronaldo follows up instantly and he just gets popped. If Paris dies in these fights, you have no more wombo combo, you have no more zone control, you have no more shields. Mersa's going to die here as well. It's a 4-0 for the side of Misfits. And they can farm up now. They have 2 inhibitors. that are sort of taken so they can farm up the waves. They're going to be losing gold, and we talked about it. If Paris dies, I just don't see a world where they win, so I think he must have stepped up here. The flash stun comes in, Ronaldo pops him as well, the duo just takes him down, so it was so well played. WLG just has to run here. The Senna's not enough damage to take out this front line of Misfits just running you down, and Jezu with the Ashe can just chase him down. The Tahm Kench ult came out later on, you saw, just to chase him down as well, so Mersa has a Mikhails as well, which is really good for the Ashe arrow. I really like that buy, but it's not done and dusted for the side of WLG yet. The Elder's going to spawn in 2 minutes. If Misfits can get some sort of pushing lane, some vision, maybe even look for another pick onto Paris, then there is a world where they can make this back. They get the Elder Dragon, the fights are a lot more skewed, but WLG, they still have Infernal Soul, they still have a 4-item Orianna, they still have Flash on the Orianna, so
yeah.
Agresivoo has no Flash anymore, so they need to do that again, just with Ronaldo doing the same sort of thing, or like an arrow, so yeah, it's going to be tough still.
I think we got excited because it was definitely against the grain of the game at this point in time. But realistically, they didn't get anything for that. Like, that was purely a fight to defend their loss as opposed to anything. It was a fight to not lose realistically rather than to win. Yep. They need to do that again, as you said, around the Elder Dragon. They need to make another identical play. Paris has to be the target. And Paris didn't even get a chance to use Flash there, so he's still got that Summoner spell available. Yeah, I mean, that fight, normally when you win a fight, you want to get some resource out of it. You want to get Dragon, Towers, Nash, anything of the sort. But they just didn't have the waves for it. They didn't have any objectives up. So what WLG can do now is they can just try and siege his bot tower. They don't have Nash minions, so it's probably going to get cleared by the Ashe and the Sylas. So turning towards the Elder Drake would be the best option, but keeping them here for now is good. Warden gives that ult back over to Ronaldo now. You can see Paris' positioning has, well, I thought it had changed. He's being a little bit aggressive again, but he is, I think, a little bit more aware of the sort of threats that WLG pose. And you can see he's now standing further behind Warden, further behind IceBreaker, making sure that he's not an easy target for an engage coming out for any of the Misfits lineup. Yeah, and the second minions, another minion wave will spawn in about 20 seconds. They have this wave to siege, and then they need to kill the next one. Make sure the super minions are pushing in and then move towards the Elder Drake. I think there's no realistic way that they can get this tower without diving as they are. Ooh, good stopwatch, but can they follow up on it? As you can see, Agresivoo pops the Dominus, dragged out by the Lantern though, and IceBreaker will cover the retreat of WLG.
Minions are on their base. Exactly. They're going to have to cover the minions. The Elder Drake spawning in 10 seconds and they have to defend their base. So Misfits are in a tricky situation here. WLG can just run towards the Elder Drake after this wave and they're going to lose it. You can see Ronaldo has head back down. He has got the teleport available. The rest of Misfits Premier doing their best to at least threaten this Elder Drake at this point in time. They've got no vision in their blue side. They have not been able to move out of their base for quite some time, but the Ashe Scout comes through. They are aware of what is happening. They have to fight this. WLG could TP in their base on top wave right now. If it's 5v5, they could back off or they can just take the fight. Take the fight here, and you can see Ronaldo looking for a side lane. Here goes Warden straight onto Jezu, who flashes over the wall to safety, but he is now out of the fight. And there they go, straight onto Warden. Warden out too, as well as Ronaldo dives onto the back line to Bananitoo. Mersa taken low. The Senna ultimate will do what he can, but it's low health bars on WLG right now. They're going for the Elder Dragon. Can they do it though? It's a 5v4. The health bars do favor Misfits Premier right now, as now Warden taken low too. This is an extended fight that WLG do not want to give up. The shockwave is there, straight onto Jezu. He's thrown into Tahm Kench and they will not get the fight, but they'll get the Elder Dragon. Is it enough at this point in time? It's now Kirei and Jezu are left alive. Kirei, what on earth are you doing, you absolute madman? How on earth did Misfits Premier win this fight? That was a scrappy fight. Misfits were just focusing the dragon, but WLG were trying to finish it themselves as well. Kirei can chase down Paris here. Paris has flash. He's got no mana for the W, so it's going to be rough for him to run away. He does flash over the wall, so he should escape. Baron's not really on the cards unless they can 2-mana it with the side of Misfits. There is a world where they could try. The TPs are up. They could get Agresivoo in there as well. It's good to give it a shot. I mean, they're going to lose the Baron otherwise, so Misfits are going to start this Baron now. As we watch the replay, WLG just chunked out here. They tried to finish the Elder, but Misfits decide they're going to finish it. Jezu, no flash, but he's really strong right now, and the Eat was just in time to save him. The Shockwave was really good. The Eat just saved him from the Senna auto, and Jezu, he gets healed up. Kirei secures the Dragon. You can see the damage coming out from Agresivoo, and as Jezu stopwatches here, the heal comes out, he gets back up to half HP, and he just W's him away, chases him down, and I'm so surprised Misfits won that fight. If you're fighting a river fight and the enemy has to come through 2 chokes, just cover the chokes, don't start the Dragon, just make them walk to you and force the Shockwave and just kill them. They get the Baron as well, so 2 big objectives kept alive. I need to remind you that if Misfits win this, they are guaranteed a quarter-final spot. Jezu is so strong. He's so strong now, and I'm so confused why WLG tried to finish the Dragon. They had to come through 2 directions, and you have the Shockwave, you have the hooks, you have the Cho'gath Qs, you have the Hecarim ult, you have so many AoE spells to stop them coming into you, and you just let them all walk into river, and then you 5v5? I'm just confused by WLG's sort of decision-making there, but Misfits have Baron, they can buy time. They have 2 open inhibs, but Kirei might get caught here.
Yeah, Kirei getting taken down very low. There's a stopwatch coming through. It's going to be a straight-up fight here as Kirei forced down, gets hooked as well. The shutdown is there. Agresivoo on the backline. Ronaldo buying time, though, and Agresivoo gets the kill onto Warden, and suddenly Jezu, he's unlocked. Look at this madman on the Ashe. He's the late
Targamas.
game, not you, WLG. Targamas comes through as well. What on earth is happening? Misfits are winning these fights.
WLG still fighting when Jezu has Elder Drake. They just jumped into the team fight and Jezu just stood there one-shotting everyone. I'm so confused. Like, Kirei gets caught, the silence comes in, so Targamas can't use the eat, but Jezu still has Elder Drake, and he's a 5-item Ashe. You can't walk into him. Illegal.
Massively so. What's the punishment, though, for that crime? It looks like it could be some inhibitors here for Misfits Premier. I think the wave clear is there for WLG. They've got a few seconds left on IceBreaker and Warden.
Should be pushing mid here as well, but they're going to group up as 4. They're probably going to get this bot in it, but they're going to have to run after this. IceBreaker has got TP wards behind them, so WLG could chase them down here. Slow chase, just try and force them away. They have got the Baron recall, so if they stay together and recall, they're really good. But WLG, they're going to try and slow chase here. They might look to TP behind. It's probably worth it in the end. The Elder Drake's fallen off, Ashe has no flash, so we could see a TP coming in. Yeah, it's going to be right behind them.
And Kirei is trying to make his way over here. There is the... Oh, beautiful arrow! Catches him out at a very long range, and now IceBreaker, the frontage becomes the prey. And IceBreaker taken low. He's got that Cho'gath ultimate ready to go. They should be able to take him down, and I don't think the WLG can continue this one. Nice reaction there from Misfits.
Yeah, and if you TP on a pink ward, you can see it on the minimap. So Jezu instantly saw the TP on the minimap. He instantly popped the arrow super clean, and Misfits can chase down here. They don't have much vision, so it's a bit risky versus the Orianna, but if they slow chase it, Kirei keeps it. The TP's coming in again!
It's the Uno Reverso card! Agresivoo goes for the counter TP, the slow chase coming through from Misfits Premier. He buys a bit of time on the backline here. He's being caught out, but has the sustain. Misfits will not get anything out of it, but they did try to put that pressure onto WLG.
What anything you can do, I can do better, but you didn't in this case, unfortunately. They have got the super minions, they've got the Baron, so Ronaldo's TPing on mid-wave. I don't know if they can look to end here. They have got the shockwave to clear the creeps, but they still have a little bit of Baron here. I think they're going to push in the mid-wave, try to get another inhib if they can. The Baron's probably going to fall off soon, though, so they're going to have to do this fast. IceBreaker's up in 10, so they can probably get towards the inhib, and then it's going to be a 5v5 again.
It's a hook, but you can't really do anything about it. They're trying to pressure in. The shockwave it does land on the Jezu, but he doesn't go down. Now Ronaldo in the backline. Mersa taken low. Paris now going to be the target. Look at them chase him down. They will get the kill, but what do they lose for it? Because that is now Jezu going down as well. Ronaldo versus the world. Targamas buying time as Bananitoo surely now going to be the target. Ronaldo can't find it, though. It's a 1 versus 2, a triple kill for the Senna as Ronaldo gets locked up by him. A quadra kill for Bananitoo. WLG, can they win?
X-Scoundrel, I'm really dizzy right now. WLG, they brought back in the game. They had Baron, they had Infernal Soul. Misfits are just turning around with the fights. I mean, you can see the Orianna Shockwave just doesn't have damage now. The PD comes out, the ED needs to come out, but they had the Phantom Dance from Jezu. And Jezu just free hitting now. They chase on the Paris too much. They got the stun. The Mikhails comes out. He tries to kite them away, and Misfits are screaming, kill Orianna. And they focus on her so much that the Infernal Soul Cho'gath just comes in and just cleans everyone up. He has a lot of AP. He has the Infernal Soul. He pops 2 of them. Bananitoo is just free hitting as well. You can see he was on the backline untouched, just free hitting, and he does pick up a quadra kill as Ronaldo tries his best to salvage the 1v2, but man, this game is making me really dizzy. It's crazy.
Push the bloody inhibitor turret.
Oh, man.
Just sit on the inhibitor turret. You don't need... I mean, I guess they thought it was the game-winning play.
Yeah.
They saw the quarterfinals in their eyes, Catril.
They did. They were hungry for blood. They just focused Orianna, but Paris, he still has flash again for this Elder Dragon in 40 seconds. It's another Elder.
Oh, it's another Elder with 42 minutes into the game. I remember when we were talking about the LFL, and I remember Trouble saying, like, their average game time is like 36 minutes. They're 2K down at 15 minutes, and they play these long games. I wasn't expecting this kind of length. I wasn't expecting drafting an early game composition, but still being alive in the late game. It's all on the back of Jezu as well with this late game Ashe.
The late game Ashe is a rock. Agresivoo's been playing the fights good, although I don't like the Triforce, but the Death Dance Terex has come out now, so he can at least be a lot more tanky in the fights, but these games are just complete fist fights. There's more kills than there is minutes in the game right now. There's a second Elder spawning now, so who's going to win this one, X-Scoundrel?
Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Oh, I need to relax for a moment because I'm almost certain that we're going to see some wild stuff happen momentarily as Ronaldo goes on to IceBreaker. IceBreaker is taken down very low. Surely dies here as he does.
Pushing out the side waves against Tahm Kench. Level 16. The ult comes in. Really good pick from Misfits there. They have 4v5 now. The Elder Drake's up. Baron's also spawning soon, so WLG, what do you do here? Are you going to 4v5 it? What's the deal?
Maybe they can threaten mid. This is difficult. I think they're going to take this Elder Dragon so quickly with Ashe right now, though.
Yeah, I think the Elder Drake's going to fall. They can move towards the Baron. Warden might look for a steal here with the Lantern.
It's going to go in. Doesn't get it. It does get secured by Kirei. It was a good attempt. I like the Lantern setup coming out from WLG, but now Misfits have a big team fighting tool in their back pocket.
They have to clear this wave. WLG have to kill this wave, otherwise Misfits can look to end. It's enough by the looks of it, but Warden is
he's out. He's caught himself out. Misfits get another kill at such a crucial point in the game, and they can surely end here. Surely this is the LFL securing themselves a spot in the quarterfinals. Wait a second, what's going on? Kirei's Zen. Wait, he's going for the end. Oh my word, I've spoken too soon. Look at Paris go.
Hit the towers.
Straight onto the Nexus towers. Look at him. Absolute monster. Spoiling the LFL. He'll be the onslaught shadows coming out. Ronaldo. Oh my god. What an end. Oh, bloody hell. I was baited and debated 5,000 times, but the LFL secure themselves a place in the quarterfinals. Oh my god. Oh my god, I need to calm down.
I'm really dizzy right now. I'm so mind blown. Man, WLG had so many ways to win this game. When Misfits are coming for the Elder Drake, the first one, they could have just fought them in the chokes. As soon as Ronaldo TP'd to the fight, they could just TP in the base because the minions were on their Nexus. And then they finally decided to go for the backdoor, but it was one auto too short.
Oh my goodness, it was an auto away from keeping this group alive for WLG especially. But the LFL secure a quarterfinal spot. We will see Misfits premiere in those quarterfinals. We're going to take a quick break. I need to calm down. We'll see you soon.